all scorers right now, and I think that's 3-pointer number 4 already for Kai Balunga, and Mbaye with some really bad intentions right there, missing the dunk, but a foul call. I think that's going to be foul number 4 already on Gio.
Gio had to give up that foul, or else it would have been a sure slam here for Mohamed Mbaye. But Gio has to really watch it now, heading into the final 152 of our ball game.
If you're Gio, Anthony, mamimili ka na lang dun eh. Poster, maging poster ka o pumaul ka.
Right.
At final na lang nga niya itong si Mbaye.
So Mohamed Mbaye nailing that first charity. Boy, for every, comeback attempt that Ateneo has given, NCCU coming back with big shots of their own. This game shaping out to be a good one, heading into the last 152. So 2-point advantage here for Ateneo. Coach Tab reminding his boys to play it smart and strong.
And again, high stakes in this game, Anthony, no? Because single round robin lang tong tournament natin, no? So if Ateneo wins here, their game against Tokai University tomorrow will virtually be the championship game already.
Right.
But if Chinese Taipei wins here, it might come down to quotients already, no? A good move right there by Dave Ildefonso, snaking his way to the baseline, finishing in that ball reversal.
Giving Ateneo some much-needed breathing room as Chen Ya-Chang for free corner does not fall. Rebounded here by Dave.
Well, good hard closeout right there by BJ Andrade. It's bothering Chen Ya-Chang just enough for him to miss that three. And now a foul called. I think this is going to be on Sung Sin Hao, and that's going to be free throws for Fortsky Padrigao.
NCCU in the penalty in what an opportune time for Ateneo, as we will head to the line here with Fortsky Padrigao coming up with two, would-be clutch free throws.
And knowing Fortsky, because Fortsky is a point guard with very high IQ, Anthony, usually he knows the game situation. And pag ganyan, pag alam niyang penalty na yung kalaban, most of the time, he's gonna find a way to force the opponent to commit a foul. And that's what he did right there. Doing a good job of fishing for the foul, knowing that Chinese Taipei is already in the penalty. And now a chance for Fortsky to extend this lead for Ateneo. As things stand, it's a 2-possession game in favor of Ateneo. And if Fortsky can make these free throws, he can make it a 6-point lead potentially, for the Blue Eagles.
Well, he heard you on that first free throw, though.
Remember, Anthony, Chinese Taipei led by as many as 11 points in the second half. So this has been a very good turnaround for the Blue Eagles.
Especially with the 1-minute mark nearing, as Chen Ya-Chang's free-pointer is way offline. And Ateneo will have to just control the time with only 1 minute and 7 seconds left in our ball game.
And not exactly the shot you want to take if you're Coach Chen Tzu Wei, no? I mean, I know that Chang Chenya is one of their top players, but obviously he looks tired. And we saw in that sequence, in that shot, he didn't have a lot of lift in his legs anymore as he took that three.
Could be the Ateneo defense getting in on him right now. As you take a look at this steal and the off the backboard alley-oop, serve it up on a platter. The Lin to Mohamed Mbaye for the two-handed throwdown.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, Anthony, that was a very good-looking highlight from Chinese Taipei, but this one is statistically worth more because this was an end-one play for Kai Balungay and Ateneo. Good find there from Padrigao, and here a good find, another good find as BJ Andrade hit that three from the right wing rather.
And BJ Andrade just needed that one to fall. He had a couple of turnovers in that first half, and boy, what a way to redeem himself as Dave Ildefonso also with a clutch triple and a little, little chit chat with his opponent right there.
Yeah, whispering some yung mga tinatawag nating sweet nothings in basketball, Anthony. You make the shot, may konting pabaon ka pang sinasabi sa kalaban mo. No? And that's the gamesmanship that you see, no, from many of these top basketball players, no.
Sa Ateneo, with much needed breathing room headed into the last minute of our ball game, 83-78. The Blue Eagles have clawed their way back from being down 11 at one point in this match. Paul Garcia, the inbounds goes to Dave Ildefonso. Blue Eagles trying to escape the trap here by NCCU, and another foul given up here by the Griffins.
Well, that was a good demonstration of how to really break a press efficiently. No, you saw that David Defonso had to cut back to get the inbound, immediate pass back to Fourth Padrigao, then Fourth Padrigao with a swing pass to Paul Garcia, who was able to fish for the foul from Chang Chenya. And now Paul Garcia has a chance to actually make this a 3-possession game in favor of Ateneo.
No problem that time for the 23-year-old Paul Garcia, of course, a graduate of Salisbury University in Maryland. He's currently enrolled in Ateneo in the master's program already. So, you know, he's mature on the court and off the court as well, as Joseph Obasa corrals that miss and is fouled going up. Joseph Obasa, the heart and the hustle from the big man.
And how huge has he been, literally and figuratively, Anthony? 6'11", Joseph Obasa. And he's been huge for Ateneo in the second half, especially with Gio Chu still nursing those foul troubles of him. Obasa has really stepped up, getting a lot of rebounds, doing a good job with the putbacks offensively. And here now, doing a good job of drawing that foul from Chinese Taipei. Now we'll see if he can make his free throws.
Of course, Joseph Obasa showing that much needed aggression in our second half of action. Able to redeem himself from a subpar first half.
So in that first half, he really struggled. No, shot just 2 out of 10 from the field, but definitely much more efficient game from him in the third and fourth quarters.
As Obasa's free throw rattles home, and Ateneo holding on to an 85-78 lead with only 53 seconds left in our ball game. The defense, no let up for Ateneo. And Bias free, clanks off the backboard, and Sean Kitevis controls that miss.
Good defense right there, shown by Joseph Obasa, rather.
And now NCCU giving up yet another foul, and that will send Sean Kitevis out of Parish Springdale, Cebu to the free throw stripe.
At medyo nag-cool off na yung outside shooting nitong Chinese Taipei, Anthony. And Ateneo able to collar the rebounds, minimize the second chance opportunities for Chinese Taipei, fish for these fouls. And that's how they've been able to turn this thing around from being down by as many as 11 points in the second half, and now well on their way to getting win number 2 and setting up a championship game clash against Tokai University, the home team, no, in day 3 tomorrow.
And a timeout is being called here by NCCU with only 38.2 seconds left. Perhaps, you know, for the coach of the Griffins, he just wants his boys to, you know, have at least a decent, you know, showing in the ending seconds of our game.
Well, definitely, you know, it's clear that they had a very strong start in this game. Very impressive first 3 quarters, actually, you know, for this National Chengchi University Griffins squad. But it's also clear that because of the short rotation that Coach Chen Chu-wei used, medyo they ran out of gas towards the end of the fourth quarter already, and that's when Ateneo was able to pounce. No? And the foul trouble also catching up for NCCU. They were in the penalty with about 4 or 5 minutes to go in the game, and that really resulted in Ateneo being able to shoot a lot of free throws to retake the lead and to eventually make it a 9-point game.
And you mentioned a while ago, no, Coach Enzo, about, you know, NCCU controlling the tempo, controlling the pace of the game in our first half. But, you know, towards the end of the third quarter, heading into the fourth, Ateneo sort of shifted the tide into their favor by, again, controlling the pace of the game and leading into NCCU's, them being pressured more, them hurrying their shots, and finally the pace of the game, led to the fatigue factor for NCCU.
Well, Ateneo doing a good job adjusting to the pace of the game and adjusting to how the refs were calling the game
Right.
as well, Anthony. They were able to adjust well in that department. That's a big reason why they were able to fish for those fouls and put NCCU in the penalty, in the middle of the fourth quarter.
Let's take a look at Gio Chu from the bench. Finally getting that well-deserved rest as Li Lin gets it over to Hin Sao Song. Chen Ya Chang for free. Offline, boy. His shooting really did cool off in our second half of action.
Well, he was one of the main guys for NCCU in that first quarter, talking about number 15, Chang, or Chen Ya Chang. But like what you said, no, his shooting percentage has gone off the cliff here in the second half. That's one big reason kung ba't medyo napako na tong NCCU.
As Kiteves, wrestling that time with his defender, and Kiteves is absolutely hyped and pumped, not giving up anything at all, even if this game is right in the back.
Well, Sean Kitevis is not the guy who's going to score 20 points, going to hit 5 threes, but he's going to give you everything he has in terms of heart and hustle and effort, and that's what he's done right now for Ateneo. He's been an X factor in this game, talking about Sean Kitevis.
The broad-shouldered Sean Kiteves.
Laki ng katawan no? I mean, for a guard, di ba? Laki ng katawan nito si Sean Kitevis.
Not giving up an inch at all. And you like that, from a backup point guard, showing that grit, that toughness. It's Li Lin. The inbounds goes here to Hin Sao Song. And that appears to be a foul, I think, over against BJ Andrade.
Yes, I think that's a foul on BJ Andrade. He might have stuck his foot or his knee out as he was defending the ball carrier in that sequence. No? So that's a foul on Ateneo. Ateneo now in the penalty. Chinese Taipei will not shoot free throws yet, but the next foul of Ateneo will result in free throws already for NCCU.
If you're Coach Tab, you just want your boys to play good, clean, honest defense to wrap this game up solidly. So sideline inbounds here for Yunche Lee. Going now to Mbaye. Yunche Lee for free. Rims out. Track down here. Ball goes out. Off the hands of Kai Balungay, and NCCU still with possession.
Medyo nawala na talaga. Lumamig na talaga yung tira ng yung bitaw rather ng Chinese Taipei from Rainbow Country, Anthony, and that's a big reason why talaga napako na yung score nila sa 78.
So Chen Ya Chang looking on. He had a strong first half, but his scoring really dipped towards the latter stages for our ball game, as a turnover is completed here by Kai Balungay, who puts it up and is fouled and will head to the line for 2.
And I'm sure when he stole that basketball and he saw an open lane, he's probably thinking, okay, eto na. Highlight na naman. But Chinese Taipei not letting him have a highlight, fouling him instead. And Balungay will troop to the free throw line for 2 shots.
For Sky Balungay, with his showing in this ball game, boy, he has demonstrated that he has the skills to play in the UAAP.
Well, definitely, Kai Balungay, 20 points already. The leading scorer for Ateneo in this game. And he's been solid, stable, and really just reliable for Coach Tab Baldwin in this game. Talking about Kai Balungay.
For Sky Balungay, upping his scoring tally from 15 in day 1, going for 20 in day 2 of the WUBS series. So Balungay nails that second charity. Last 11 seconds to go in our ball game. Muhammad Mbaye loses it on the way up. Sean Kitevis gathers that. And Ateneo will just look to dribble the time away. And that is it. Down 11 points, Ateneo wins it by 10, a 20-point turnaround. And Ateneo is still undefeated, unscathed in the World University Basketball
And
Series.
look at that fourth quarter swing, Anthony. No? Chinese Taipei outscoring Ateneo. The first three quarters, every single quarter outscoring Ateneo. But Ateneo with a huge 31-point fourth quarter. So they burst out, exploded on offense in the fourth quarter, and put the clamps on NCCU on defense as well, turning an 11-point deficit in the third into a 10-point victory eventually. And Coach Tab Baldwin, I'm sure, having some positive comments he's sharing with the Chinese Taipei players right there.
Right, of course, Coach Tab Baldwin respecting, the strong showing here by the Griffins of NCCU. Boy, they really tested Ateneo's mettle in this ball game. And again, they faced one of the better teams in this short pocket tournament. But don't let the 31-point fourth quarter of Ateneo fool you. This game was sort of an ugly win for them.
Yeah, they had to work for this game, Anthony. And as you can see in the scoring, lamang na lamang yung NCC. They had control of this game for the first three quarters, But in the fourth quarter, Ateneo adjusted really well. They forced NCCU into the penalty really quickly. They didn't have many turnovers. I think they only had one or two in that fourth quarter. They were able to hit some threes in that fourth quarter. And NCCU's outside shooting really went south already in that fourth quarter.
But again, learning lessons here for Coach Tab Baldwin and the Ateneo Blue Eagles. Again, transition defense, limiting turnovers, controlling the tempo of the ball game. Those are some things that Coach Tab, again, will have to go over and over again with his boys, in the film room as they prepare for their upcoming game against Japan's Tokai University.
And that game against Tokai University tomorrow, that's going to be the second game. That's going to be pretty much a championship game already in this first ever WUBS tournament.
Of course, both squads shaking hands, exchanging pleasantries. After a really entertaining ball game, Coach Enzo? Them leading, zooming up by 11, and then Ateneo just coming back, to win by 10. Boy, this ball game, shaped up to be a classic one.
It was a good show, a good stand put up by NCCU, the defending UBA champions from Chinese Taipei. But the composure and the adjustments that Ateneo showed really enabled them to turn it around in the fourth quarter, get win number 2, and set up that championship clash against the home team, the Tokai University Seagulls, tomorrow on day 3.
Of course, Ateneo gathering for an end game huddle over here, celebrating a much needed, hard-earned victory against the NCCU Griffins. But of course, from all the contributions of the Blue Eagles on the floor for this game, Coach Enzo, your standout player of the game for the Blue Eagles?
For me, it has to be Kai Balungay. Balungay really has been, or was, the most reliable and most consistent across the board for Ateneo. Joseph Obasa had good moments, especially in that second half. Fortsky Patrigao, good playmaking as well from him. David Defonso had some good plays, even Paul Garcia. But throughout the entire game, it was really Kai Balungay who was a stabilizing, consistently good performer for the Ateneans.
As we take a look now at our end game highlights over here. Boy, in that first half, Ateneo, parang nagulpit-gulat sila. They didn't expect NCCU to come out that strong that early.
That's right. And NCCU came up big with those booming triples in that first half that really, gave Ateneo a hard time.
Let's take a look at this again. The strong drives by the Griffins. They really have good quick guards. Really smart attacking guards in their roster.
That's true. And we talked about it pre-game, Anthony. This NCCU squad, they're a pretty deep team. They have around 6 or 7 guys who have national team experience. And pinakita nila yan, no, against Ateneo. They really started off strong, very aggressive, both offensively and defensively. Pero ito kasi kay Balungay, really a good stabilizing offensive presence for the Ateneans.
Or Sky Balungay showing the touch from downtown, showing the touch from mid-range, and showing his athleticism right in the paint. As Muhammad Mbaye, of course, one of the featured student athletes here for NCCU, also had a pretty decent outing of his own, coupled with topped off with that highlight reel alley-oop jam later into the ball game.
And feeling ko nga, after nung dunk, parang medyo nag-mini run yung Ateneo, Anthony. Eh. So, feeling ko that fired up the Ateneo
Yeah.
defense. Aba, tinitirahan mo kami ng ganyang dunk, ina-highlight reel mo kami ng ganyan, you're gonna put us on YouTube, and we're not gonna take that sitting down, and it worked in Ateneo's favor eventually.
And that lit a fire in their belly, right after that, jam by Mohamed Mbaye, who, by the way, also has pretty decent touch from downtown. As a GOCHU, he really battled with Mohamed Mbaye in this ball game.
GHU really had to bring his A game here. Na-challenge talaga siya, no? Against Mbaye inside. He even got into foul trouble. But when he was on the floor, GHU was a positive contributor for Ateneo.
As Mohamed Mbaye, they just wouldn't go down easy. For every comeback attempt that Ateneo had, NCCU was right there keeping in step with them. And even, the lucky shots were falling right there for the Griffins.
Ayun nga, di ba? May halong swerte, may halong buenas pa tong NCCU. But again, ganda ng adjustments ng Ateneo. They were patient in that fourth quarter. They were hitting their outside shots, not turning the ball over a lot. And that resulted in a big swing, outscoring NCCU by 17 points in the fourth period.
And boy, those back-to-back triples by Paul Garcia really did spark a fire for Ateneo. Coupled with that Joseph Abasa slam, who really, redeemed himself right there in the second half of action. As we were talking about this one, the alley-oop jam to Mohamed Mbaye. They were pumped after that, the Griffins were. But Ateneo, their momentum really shifted after that with a Kai Balungay alley-oop of their own. And that was it for the Blue Eagles. This started their huge run that led to their comeback win.
And it was a good finish for Ateneo, eventually winning by 10 points against this Chinese Taipei squad. And they're going to hope to take that momentum tomorrow into their championship match against Tokai University.
Sky Balungay showing the range from downtown at the clutch moment of the ball game. And there you have it, folks. Ateneo, from being down 11, winning by 10 against a gritty NCCU Griffins squad. As we take a look now at the leading scorers for the Griffins, Mohamed Mbaye leading the way with 20, followed by Lee Chun Che with 14, Chang Chen Ya with 13, 10 of those coming in the first half, and Hung Sin Hao with 12 for the Griffins.
And these really are the guys na sinabi natin kailangan timbrehan, especially Mbaye, their Senegalese foreign student athlete, leading the way, showing a lot of versatility as well. He was able to hit a couple of threes and, of course, finish well around the basket, talking about Mbaye. So that's a tough guy, and I think this NCCU squad are in pretty good shape to try and defend their title in the upcoming season of the UBA over there in Taipei.
And it's also good to see na university basketball is alive and well in Asia. No, parang these teams are the gold standard in their respective leagues, and you'd like to see university basketball really just continue to develop and evolve and grow all across the continent.
That's right, Anthony. And it's going to be very exciting tomorrow as we see the championship match, the culminating day of the first ever WUBS, featuring the Ateneo Blue Eagles against the Tokai University Seagulls on day 3.
And there we have our standings. Tokai University 2-0, Ateneo de Manila University 2-0, and boy, game day number 3 is going to be a good one with the virtual championship already on hand for us tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. Manila time. Ateneo de Manila takes on Tokai University, both undefeated, but someone will get their first loss tomorrow, and it is going to be in our championship match.
That's going to be tomorrow in the afternoon, Anthony. Tokai University, they are the defending national intercollegiate champions in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. And it's going to be a great matchup between the Seagulls and the Blue Eagles for all the marbles tomorrow in the first ever WUBS.
As we take a look now at our venue, the Yoyogi National Stadium, as we say goodbye from the World University Basketball Series coverage. We were live via Smart Sports Facebook and YouTube. Once again, this is Anthony Perez. Joining me was Coach Enzo Flojo saying good night, goodbye, and thank you very much for tuning in to the World University Basketball Series presented by Smart Sports. We'll see you again tomorrow afternoon. Kita-kita po tayo. Ingat po lahat. Magandang gabi.
Feeling powerless with limited choices? Not anymore. Because with Smart's new Power All 99, I have the power to do what I want. With 8 gigabytes for all sites and apps, I have the power to play, to watch, to share, to stream, everything. Plus, Only TikTok gives me the power to stay on my FYP and Only Text power to stay in touch. All that power for just 99 pesos. Load Smart's new Power All 99 for the power to do what you want. Best choice I made. Load now.
The magic of Apple Music gives you spatial audio. Sound all around that brings out the excitement from lively percussions. Love in romantic guitars. Loneliness of crying violins. Courage of beating drums. Surround yourself with music through spatial audio. Brought to you by Apple Music and its over 90 million songs. And Smart, the Philippines' fastest 5G network.
Pinapakinggan mo dyan? How can we feel music? Simple! Smart ako!
Welcome to Smart Signature, a postpaid reimagined experience. Be worry-free. Make the most of your Smart Signature plan with these included.